Good day, classmates. Today we will discuss what is the conventional general cargo handling, including cargo gear. So let's go. Cargo handling equipments. These are ship's gears used in living and moving cargoes. Ibig sabihin, this is the one who will be used or help the ships to be more efficient, time saving and cost saving for the smooth flow of the operation. There are three ship's gear that we will tackle to you: the standing rigging, running rigging, and deck fitting. So let's start with standing rigging. What is standing rigging? It is the one who will give the strength of the ship's gear, or it's the one who will impose the stability of this ship's gear when the operation just began. So there will be a proper maintenance to avoid corrosion, dismantle of metals, and so on. You should apply by maintaining these standing gears. You should apply the tapping lips, cargo runners, guys, preventers, tapping blocks, derricks, and fittings. By this proper maintenance, you will give a smooth and fast operation when you're using a ship's gear. So next, we will do the running rigging. This is the one, or this part of the ship's gear is the one who are the moving objects, the one who will use to lift the objects, includes the moving parts of the ship's gear. Major items of the lifts are booms, midship guys, cargo runners, outboard, and preventers. This part of ship's gear are the one who will impose the lifting of the cargoes, the one who will give to divide the pressure and the weight of the cargo when the operation just began. Deck fittings. This is used to lead or secure standing and running rigging. It includes pad eyes, chocks, cleats, and bits. Deck fittings are the one who will stagnant, or the one who will give the standard rigging and the running rigging the stability or the additional strength to provide when we are lifting heavy cargoes, and also just to avoid damage and accidents while you are using these ship gears. So next part is derrick. What is derrick? Lifting gear device, hoisting, lowering loads of derrick, boom pivoted and heel by gooseneck bearing. Its head may be swung horizontal or boom up or down. This part of the ship. Commonly they are fitted in general cargoes, used to lift cargoes by 5 to 10 tons. Sometimes they are with pair to lift more weight on the cargo, and also they are sometimes they are heavy lift derricks. So that's why derricks are one of the most important part of the ship gear when you are on board or general cargoes. Hello guys, we are now in topic 2, and today topic 2 comprises the hatch cover constructions, hatch work, and types of hatch cover. What is a hatch cover construction? Typically, hatch covers are lightweight steel grillages, modern design method using finite element technology, and able for more efficient material distribution, which results thinner structure. Hatch cover construction defines that today in the modern technology, most of the hatch covers are easier, efficient to use on board. This means that by the time goes by, we develop more and more adequate hatch covers for the vessels. And now we will tackle what are the different types of hatch covers. First, we are discussing the folding type or the pyramid type. This type of hatch cover are operated by hydraulics. When you will see on board, there are throttles using to open and close by the hydraulic pressure. The hydraulic pressure will push up the hydraulic cylinders just to open, and when you put down the throttle, the hydraulic pressure will release by the hydraulic cylinder, and then it will close automatically. But sometimes they are used, the hydraulic when closing, they are used only by the gravity, or which means by the weight of the hatch cover. And this type of hatch cover are very space saving, which means even though it's a very large type of hatch cover on board, you will see that the space eaten by this hatch cover when it's open is very small compared to other type of hatch cover. And now we are discussing the rolling type. What is a rolling type? Commonly used this type of hatch covers, they are commonly used on barges, and also they are only commonly used on bulk carriers. These are also operated sometimes in hydraulic, using chains connected to the hatch covers and wheels to open and close the hatch cover. Sometimes they are they are very inefficient when you are operating. Most of these are have problem in terms of stability and security of the rolling type. This type of hatch cover are usually fitted on large ships. Hydraulic rolls are required to raise them to rolling position as they extremely heavy and very large dimension. As I told you before, they are used commonly on the Panamax Cape-size vessel. They are commonly used on Panamax and Cape-size vessels, giving this a very large dimension.
Lifting equipment number. First in our use is the snatter. Snatter is a rope or tackle used in sailing detention, speed on smooth sail, and it can be done by pulling the lower end towards the mast. It is also used in drunk fleet. While wedge slings are a good choice for load protection because it can offer flexibility and has a light weight so it can be easily used. Next is canvas sling. A canvas sling is a rope sling with a section of canvas that was sewn between the ropes. In commercial practice, canvas slings similar to dirt slings are used for handling cargo such as nitrate. Then comes endless sling. Splicing the end of a piece of wire or fiber ropes make an endless sling. It is simple to handle and can be used in several different ways to lift loads. Round slings have a high strength to weight ratio, which provide an extreme flexible and lightweight lifting sling with low elongation. Next is pallet. Pallet is a flat transport structure that supports goods in a stable fashion while being lifted by forklift. Pallet, jack, fork ladder, fork saver, or other jack device or crane can be called as pallet. Next is a cargo net. A cargo net is a type of net that is usually square or rectangular but sometimes round. It is made of thick ropes with cinch rope, extending from the corners and some design to the edge. It is named for its use in transferring cargo and from ships. Chain slings. Chain slings are used mainly for handling straight rails, pipes, beams, and angle chains. The slings are used in each or single hooks. Cargo handles should use damage between the chain and the draft to prevent slipping. Next is bail hook. Bail hook is used for securing and moving loads. It consists of a round wooden handle with a strong metal hook, about 8 long projecting in a right angle from the center of the angle. Then, a vehicle spreader. It is made of lengths of hardwood, pipes, or steel beams. It permits its roof to slide wheel nets. This keeps pressure away from the side of the vehicle to be hauled.
Wish-clusive on Wish.
Types of cover. First is single panel cover. It is consists of a single cover for each opening. This can be seen mainly on a bulk carrier. Then, next is multi-panel cover. A multi-panel cover is a single hole that is covered by a multiple number of covers. These are the most commonly observed in cellular container ships, in the case of longitudinal joints, and for multi-purpose cargo ships, in the case of transverse joints. Next is the piggyback. The piggyback hatch cover are used on bulk carriers in the available deck space is insufficient to accommodate folding, slide, rolling, or to support the lifted panel on its back. Next is the high lift. The standard high lifter system consists of the 4 hydraulic cylinders. Reliable synchronization of the cylinder is achieved through a system of load distribution control.
Today I will discuss to you about the slings. Sling is used for hold cargo items securely which are hoisted lower and suspended. Next is snooter. Snooter is used in sailing tension and sprit boom and also used in junk rig. The next is the canvas sling. The canvas sling is used for commercial practice similar to dirt sling and used for handling cargo such as nitrate. The next is endless sling. Endless sling is used as hook and load contact points can rotate. It is also used choker, vertical basket, hitches. The next is round slings. Round slings is used for lifting and transporting loads that have no attachment points of their own. It is structural foundation of unit load which allows to handling storage efficiencies. The next is cargo net. The cargo net is used for shipping industry to secure loads to prevent from the shipping during transport. The next is chain sling. Chain sling is used for various industrial construction applications. These are sling are flexible, temperature resistant, and strong. And the next is bail hook. Bail hook is a large hook suspended from the chain of a crane or winch for use in lifting bales. It is a smaller hand hook used in handling widely bales, boxes, and packages. And the last is vehicle spreader. The vehicle spreader is used for pry or cut the car to remove the occupant. It takes about 2 minutes to take the roof cover type. The type of facility are used on ship having relatively smaller hatch cover. It is consists of hydraulically powered lifting crane facility whose purpose it is lift the covers longitudinally. The next is the difference between the watertight and the weather type. For the weather type, a weather type is designed that it can be subject to the adverse weather condition experienced offshore. It is fitting shall withstand water pressure from the outside. Then the water covers prevents the passage of water when exposed to the head of water so that no water enters on.
Everyone, this is Panganiban, and these are my slides for topic 1 PowerPoint presentation. First, let's talk about blocks and type. Let's define a block. A block consists of one or more pulleys or sheaths fitted in a wood or metal frame, supported by a shackle inserted in the strap of the block. A tackle. Let's define a tackle. A tackle is an assembly of blocks and lines used to gain a mechanical advantage in lifting and pulling. What are the types of tackles? The types of tackles are single whip, runner, gun tackle, luff tackle or jigger, and two-fold perch. Next, we'll talk about kinds of derrick based on their packing system. The first kind is Howland. The boom is connected with the lower part of the mast, which is shaped like a Y or bipod, and therefore it is single swinging derrick. Next, the Vale derrick is quite similar to the Howland, without use of outriggers. On top of the boom is a T-shaped yoke assembled. Also here, the guys serve for topping and lowering the boom, but they are fastened on the yoke with 4 short steel wire angle ropes. This is a Vale derrick. The Vale derrick. Next, the patent Stocken derrick is used for very heavy cargo. It stems from the German shipyard H.C. Stocken and Son, which has been taken over later by neighboring yard Blom and Voss. This derrick can handle up to 300 tons. That is the patent Stocken derrick. And this is one question. Safety, is it needed? Safety precautions when handling cranes. These are the things that you should know. These are the precautions that you should know when handling a crane. First, you should keep the load below safe working load value. Second, appropriate certificate. Third, only the right person should operate the equipment. Fourth, know the equipment. Fifth, efficient lubrication. Sixth, check the wires. Seventh, use a securing clamp. Eighth, check the weight of the load. Ninth, check the anticipated path. 10th, check for cracks in the base. 11th, check proper lighting. And 12th, ship's load distribution for load plan. So that's it for my reporting assigned to me in topic 1 PowerPoint.
Good morning everyone, this is Panganiban and these are my slides for topic 2 PowerPoint presentation. First, what is the difference between watertight and weathertight? A watertight cover prevents the passage of water when exposed to a head of water. A typical head of water for a ship could range from 3 to 10 meters. A watertight ship door or hatch withstands a so-called water column, water pressure from both sides. The closure between two compartments below the waterline will typically be watertight. It is essential that these compartments are resistant against great water pressure, as is the case during a major water leakage. Due to a watertight closure, the leakage won't spread and the vessel will stay afloat. Because this watertight closure is so essential for the safety of the vessel, classification is required for in most cases. The watertightness of a ship door or hatch is tested by mounting the door hatch into a tank and applying a certain water pressure from the outside. If the water is coming from the outside of the door or what hatch, the door lid or hatch lid is pressed into the seal by the water pressure, which helps the seal to seal. Water coming from the inside will counterwork. This way, the water tightness of the product can be easily measured. Next, what's a weather tight? A weather tight is designed that it can be subject to the adverse weather conditions experienced offshore. It is also designed to withstand brief submersion experience from green seas. A weather tight ship door or hatch is designed to withstand water pressure from one side, outside. Typical locations where you will find weather tight closures are above the water line. For example, on the deck or in the wheelhouse of the ship, weather tight doors or hatches are designed to withstand the weather conditions as found offshore. They can be submerged for a short period as would occur when hit by a standing wave. Classification is in most cases not required as weather tight closures are generally tested with a high pressure hose which is directed at the seal. This test is also performed before the sea trial. Next, the different types of tightness test. What is the first type is the choke test. The choke test is often carried out when the vessel is new in the shipyard. All compression bars are rubbed with a piece of choke. Thereafter, the hatch covers are put in place and secured and then opened again. Next, the hose test is the traditional way of testing hatch covers. It is easy to carry out and the crew can do the job. It is inexpensive as a fire hose with a nozzle and good water pressure from the fire pump is all that is needed. The latest and most accurate way of testing hatch covers is by using an ultrasonic apparatus. A unit emitting ultrasound is placed inside the cargo hold and the operator registers leakages of ultrasound through the hatch covers using a handheld detector. So that's it for my slides that are assigned to me in topic 2 PowerPoint presentation.
Good afternoon everyone, I am Hernais and I am here to present a video presentation regarding the cargo specific information. According to the cargo specific information, they should learn things to prevent damage regarding their cargoes in specific and affordable time. Sometimes it may cause them serious problems or potential hazardous event if the crew are not responsible enough. Cargo should be properly secured in the fore and aft part of the vessel, and the solid toe is needed so the lashings won't be dismantled due to the wave, weather, or etc. Blocking is the act of attaching solid pieces so that these pieces lean directly against the cargo to prevent its movement. Shoring, which includes blocking and bracing, while the toming is the securing of cargo to prevent upward movements. Choking, the process of securing cargo inside a container. Lashing is the securing of cargo for transportation with the goal of minimizing shiftings or etc. Also remember that the securing heavy loads and heavy lift items and project cargo are often of high value and great weight, and you should also know the methods of securing cargo face resulting from part discharge before making a sea passage. The cargo, whether on deck or under the deck, has to be stowed and properly stowed well. Remember that the cargo spaces in which well-based cargo is to be stowed be dry, clean, and free from grease and oil, and the particular care should be taken to distribute forces as even as practicable. Wheel-based cargoes in the context of these guidelines are all cargoes which are provided with wheels or tracks. A passenger ship is a merchant ship whose primary function is to carry and transport passengers. A specific load line assigned to ships complying with certain conditions related to their construction, set out, or etc. Timber, it means sawn wood or lumber, canned slugs, poles, pulpwood, and other type of timber in loose or packaged forms. Remember, the stability of the ship is very important in terms of cargo operation. Remember, the master should take full responsibility, and not only the master, also the crew members should participate well, because if not, the vessel will be in big trouble. Before proceeding to sea, ensure that the ship is upright, the ship has adequate metacentric height, and the ship meets the required stability criteria. And that would be all, guys. Thank you.
Guys, I'm Tristan S. Hernais, and I'm about to discuss about the Jayson 3 Part 3, specifically cargo-specific information. So without further ado, I'm going to start. So, deck cargo. Cargo which are normally carried on the deck include the following but are not limited to this, and many exceptional cargoes may be carried and also been carried in the past. The cargo, whether on the deck or under deck stow, has to be stowed well, and the cargo should be prevented from moving and gaining enough momentum to part where lashing and damage to the ship's structure. Deck cargo is liable to damage itself, fall overboard, and thus be lost. However, the missionary does not stop here in the act of parting, lashing, and going overboard. The deck cargo should unleash considerable damage to the ship's structure as well as the crew members. Small, apparently insignificant items such as sounding pipes and air pipes are often torn out, and this may endanger the ships from the resulting chances of flooding lower down compartments. Crew members ordered to be lashed cargo, whether the lashing have parted, have been seriously injured, and some have lost their combating in shifting cargo. The point is to have the good solid stow, prevent cargo from shifting and gaining momentum with the ship, since this would part any strong lashing. The lashing undertaking should be for the worst sea condition that may experience. Deck cargo loading on the top of hatch cover should be carefully planned. All loading of under deck space should have been completed. Lashing may continue with portable lights. The hatch cover should be closed and buttoned down. All side wedges or also cross wedges, which are the center wedges, should have been fitted with the hatch cover sealed for sea. The space should then be given out for the loading deck cargoes. The permissible loading density of the hatch cover should be checked, and timber relates to the spread of the weight of the cargo. The low density of the hatch cover are given for a new vessel, and as the ship ages, the low density should reduce due to fatigue and the metal as well as wear and tear. Thus, the utmost need to be spread and the weight using timber. Okay. Shoring and towing of hatch cover from the below deck is practically useless, since the hatch cover slide somewhat with the motion of the ship. The height of the cargo on the hatch cover as well as that on deck should not be high that the view obstructed from the navigation bridge. Okay. Stowage in lashing timber decks cargoes as laid down by the IMA code and safe practice for ships carrying timber and deck cargoes. The purpose of the code is to make recommendations on stowage, securing, and other operational safety measures designed to ensure of the safety of the transport of mainly timber on deck cargoes. Timber load line. A special load line assigned to the ships complying with a certain condition related to the construction set out in the International Convention on Load Lines, and used when the cargo complies with the stowage and securing condition of this code. Whether deck means the uppermost complete deck exposes So ships carrying timber deck cargoes should operate as far as possible with a safe margin of stability and with a metacentric height which is consistent with the safety requirements, but such metacentric height should be allowed to fall below the recommended minimum. Container cargo. Sea containers were invented in the mid-1950s by Malcolm McLean, a North Carolinian trucking owner who grew who grew tired of wasting his trucking company's time with trucks and standing idle in the line. Ships were unloaded, bait by dock workers. Containers comes in two basic sizes, that is the 20-footer and the 40-footer, and are commonly known as the TEU, or 20 equivalent units, and FEU, which is meaning 40 equivalent units. The external body of the container is made up of conjurated sheet metal, is not capable of taking any load. The four corners have shoes and are strengthened to take in load. Lashing of containers on purpose. Ships are supplied from reputed lashing makers and have been tested for the loads they are not lashed. Various fitting are used, and all these are generally carried on board. The lashing to be done are specified in the container lashing manual supplied to the ship from the building yard. This is not to be reduced since the stresses have been calculated and number of lashing incorporated. The planning of loading of container ships normally undertaken ashore, but the officer in charge of the watch should keep an eye on the loading to detect errors in stowage which may occur. A particular watch should be kept on containers with dangerous goods, placards to see that their stowage satisfies segregation requirement as the laid down in the IMDG code. So, thank you guys. That is all. Salamat po. Thank you.
I'm Jayson Llona, and I will be going to discuss the topic for bulk cargo. So, in this session, I will be going to tackle about the following cargo condition with respect to the seaworthiness and stability of the ship. So, first of all, let me discuss the International Maritime Solid Bulk Cargoes, or IMSBC code. The International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, or SOLAS 1974, as amended, contains in Chapter 6 the mandatory provision governing the carriage of solid bulk cargoes. These provisions are extant in the International Maritime Solid Bulk Cargoes Code, or IMSBC code. The primary of the International Maritime Solid Bulk Cargoes Code, or IMSBC code, which replaces the Code of Safe Practice for Solid Bulk Cargoes, is to facilitate the safe stowage and shipment of solid bulk cargoes by providing information on dangers associated with the shipment of certain types of solid bulk cargoes and instruction on the procedures to be adopted with the shipment of solid bulk cargoes is completed. First of all, what is angle of repose? Angle of repose, it is the maximum slope of angle that is non-cohesive granular material. It is measured as the angle between horizontal plane and the cone slope of the material. Cargoes that may liquefy. Cargoes that contain a certain proportion of fine particles and a certain amount of moisture. It is, or they may liquefy if shipped with a moisture content in extent of their transportable moisture limit. So, cargoes will be or may be liquefied when it is experience a moisture content that excesses the transportable moisture limit. Next is the flow state. So what is a flow state? A flow state occurs when a mass of granular material is saturated with liquid to an extent that under the influence of prevailing external forces such as vibration, impaction, or ship's motion, it loses its internal shear strength and behaves as a liquid. So this says that a flow state is only influenced by the external process like vibration, impaction, or ship's motion, and it will also lose internal shear strength and behaves as a liquid. So it means it also occurs as a liquid. Then next is the preparation of cargo holds. When nominated to load green cargo ship, staff shall remember the following issues. So these are the following that a staff shall remember. First is, even after discharging other green cargo, prior to nomination, the holds will require as thorough cleaning and preparation as required for any other previous cargo. So in this first paragraph, it says that the holds will always require a cleaning preparation. It is a requirement for the holds for any other previous cargo. So after the discharging of the green cargoes, prior to nomination, the holds will require to be cleaned. And then The second is there shall be no trace of any previous cargo residue anywhere in the holds and its structures. So when after cleaning the holds, it is said that it is shall no trace. So this is that if after cleaning the holds, it is required that it is completely clean. There's no trace of the previous cargoes that in the holds or cargo residue anywhere in the holds. Then number 3, there shall be no loose rust or flaking paint patches. So it says also that the rust, flaking paint patches, and any part of the cargo holds. So this loose rust or flaking paint patches must be removed. Then number 4, the hatch covers underneath and hatch coamings with their channels and drainage shall be free of loose rust, paint flakes, and cargo residue. So the hatch covers underneath and hatch coamings with their channels and drainage also needed to be free of loose rust, paint, and paint flakes and cargo residues. And then cargo holds, bulkheads, and sides and upper plates shall have no previous cargo dirt, dirty stains, or such as coal or dark ore cargo stains. So this says that in cargo holds, after the previous cargo, like coal or dark ore, it is needed to be completely clean. There's no such there have to clean it completely so that it will be able to remove all the previous cargo stains. And then number 6, rust on the tank top is common on bulk carriers. Loose rust is not accepted. Hard adhering rust needed to remove. So as always, rust, loose rust, and adhering rust are must be removed in the cargo, especially in the tank top. And then 7, cargo holds and weather decks shall be inspected after cleaning. So yun it says that after cleaning and washing to ensure that there is no trace of any live or dead insect weevils, the cargo holds and weather decks shall be inspected for us to ensure that it is completely clean. Then the cargo holds bilges shall be clean, free of any trace of previous cargo. So in this it says that the cargo holds shall be clean also, that there it has to be free of trace by the previous cargo residue or rust, and then odor free. So it is needed to completely clean. Hold cleaning criteria: previous cargo determination. Find out what was last 3 to 5 cargoes carried and inform all crew so that all know what cargo residue to look for. So after 3 to 5 cargoes carried, this is that the all crew needed to know what does the cargoes carry, so that they will know what to look for when cleaning the hold. And then removal of cargo residue. So we use air blow from top using high pressure air. So we use high pressure air nozzle tied to long pole to reach all the accessible corners. And then if available, use washing with high pressure 250 bars and above. Water lance gun special attention to following areas: Australian ladder and its patterns and stanchions, beams and gauges under cross decks, pipe guards recessed behind the pipes, large pipes holding brackets behind the pipes, behind the cut face and the transverse frames, horizontal stringer plates wherever fitted. Then removal of loose rust and paint flakes. So wherever loose rust is suspected, generally appearance of paint flakes or blisters on painted surface, a sharp hand scraper shall be used. So the crew use a sharp hand scraper to take off the peeling rust and paint flakes. Special attention to the following areas like Australian ladder again and its platform, and drills and stanchions, beams and girders, pipe guards recessed behind the pipes. So large pipes holding brackets and behind pipes, 1 and 3 bobby hatches and covers behind the flat face and vertical face, etc. And then number 4, condition of underneath of hatch covers. So we have to we must to inspect the condition of the underneath of hatch covers when in open condition, and any loose rust or cargo residue shall be scrapped too. And then areas around the crane, the grain hole, cement holes, it says that it is the special attention dito, dapat malinis talaga. Then the hatch cover, vent louvers and nets are usually found rusty. So ito yung mga parts, it is the common parts that you can find rust. So it is needed, or it must be cleaned completely and properly. paint the scrap areas to have clean look. So we also needed to clean the scrap areas, or we have to paint it so it is it will be completely clean. The notch cover channels and drains require clean appearance, no cargo residues. Removal of previous cargo stain. So in this part, cargo stains left by previous dirty cargo such as coal, mineral ores must be removed as much as possible. Because this kind of material or mineral are sometimes hard to remove, especially when they get hot. And then such stain shall not be acceptable if it comes off on a white cloth rubbing. Surveyor inspectors do carry out this process. So this is that the surveyor inspectors are carrying white cloth rubbing. So when they inspect the cargo holds, they will see the smallest particles if it is completely clean. So it shall be cleaned properly. Vessel shall have sufficient cleaning chemical like aquatop available on board along with spraying chemical system version of protect closing systems. Vessel must have air pressure combination gun or Toby gun to clean such stains at higher pressure. So a vessel, it says that a vessel must have air pressure, so it can use to clean the high places that a seafarer cannot reach when cleaned by cargo holds. Then number 6, removal of tank top loose rust. Tank tops of bulk carriers can never stay painted as heavy bulldozers and grab goods work on them. Tank top should be free of loose rust. So again, this says that loose rust and cargo residue shall be free, especially on tank tops. Then any rust which can be struck by hand, scrappers shall be removed also. So the rust, the cargo residue must be removed, completely removed from tank tops. Hard othering rust is not a hindrance to hold acceptability. The tank top should be rinsed with fresh water. So we use fresh water to clean the tank tops. For it will be completely rinsed. Then presence of insect, weevil, larvae in cargo. So if a vessel had carried grain cargo, it will have insect. They will eat the grain. So it is needed to be cleaned or to remove all that insect. In the recent past, it is possible to have such live or dead insect weevil larvae inside. So it is very possible to have live or dead insect inside the hole. So we have to clean it or remove them all. They are usually found at the welding seams of tank tops and hamper or bulkheads in the hold bilges, upper corners of frames and brackets. Crucial, look for those insects, especially carefully after all cleaning is done. So after the cleaning, the crew will look for these insects. Then brooms, mops, and burlaps used for preparation also. So I will show the insects or the pest. As you can see here, these are the pests that you can see inside the hole. They are very little, but they must be removed inside the hole. And we are eating the rice, peanuts, with inside the hole. And then, as we continue, cleanliness of cargo hold bilges. Hold bilges must be cleaned thoroughly to remove all residue rust particles in cargo frame. So again, the hold bilges must be completely free from rust particles and cargo stains, and it shall be removed. We have to remove all the residue. The filter or the rose bus must be cleaned also, and then the bilge well section shall be washed with continuous running of seawater to remove all the odor. So the seawater can help to remove the odor, and later rinse with fresh water. So if we use seawater, afterward we have to use the fresh water. And then the bilge well must be sponged dry to remove all the trace of water. So we must dry too, because to prevent the rust again or residue. And then lastly, I will show I will show something. So as you can see here, we have two pictures. from the left is the pipes where cargo residues usually accumulate, and then here is the completely clean pipes, and then here the hatch cover underneath. This is the acceptable condition of a hatch cover underneath. Then a man entry with that has rust, that is covered in rust and cargo residue. Then as you can see here, it is the condition, the acceptable condition of a entrance. As if we clean this part, it shall be look like this. Then hold bilges. It must be clean and dry. So this, as you can see here, it is not that clean. It has loose flakes and then stains. It still has stains. Then here, this is the acceptable condition of hold bilges. And then this is the aluminum multi-stage extension ladder. So the crew used this to completely clean the cargo hold. And then these are the Toby gun. This is used to wash the cargo hold, especially the high area of the hold. Yeah. So here you can see the maxi jet powerful water jet. It is very powerful that it can reach the the highest part of the hold of the cargo hold. And lastly, this is how an inspector closely look for the condition of the hold. So it is very strict. So we needed to completely and properly clean the hold. For the inspector will give us the go signal to have cargo. So, and that's all. That's all for topic number 4.
Topic 5. Segregation and separation of cargos. Non-compatible cargos need to be kept separate, hence there will be a needed to segregate dangerous cargos. Cargos liable to contamination by odor, tainting, or fragile cargos, as failure to observe such as requirements could give rise to a most absurd situation involving toxics or flammable gas being given out as byproduct. Incompatible materials. This is a substance that should not be stored near each other because any contact between them would cause a dangerous reaction leading to explosion, fire, or production of new hazardous new substance. Dangerous goods. DG segregation shall be verified for compliance with requirements of the IMDG code. Caution must be exercised when using vessel stowage planning. Software for this purpose is or may not have comprehensive means of checking for bad stowage and segregation against the latest international requirements. It is advisable to manually check for compliance. Segregation of different cargos with reference to dangerous goods. If more than one class of dangerous goods is carried on board, they either require proper separation or they cannot be stowed together in the same compartment. Depending on the class and nature of the goods, they have to be segregated using the IMDG segregation table. This table is used to compare two materials at a time based on their hazard class division. This is an example of segregation table. General precaution while planning storage of dangerous cargo. Dangerous cargo impact from any preferably given deck storage, depending the special requirements, if any, for the IMDG goods class. The dangerous goods are preferably stowed away from living quarters in well-ventilated spaces. These are further stowed in sheltered areas protected from weather and away from hot surface and bulkheads. Marine pollutants are not stowed on deck in order to avoid loss of overload. Poisonous toxic cargos are stowed clear of food items, edible cargos, and areas where crew normally works. Cargos need to be separate. Dry cargo, wet cargo, clean cargo, dirty cargo, delicate cargo, valuable cargo, banknotes, personal effects. This separation between parcel of cargo for different consignees of different sport charge is required.
I'm Eurveen S. Nuñez. Today is the continuation of segregation and separation of cargos. This topic is very important to our all students because before we onboard, we can help them to know what is the segregation and separation of cargos. This continuation of topic is segregation of different cargos with reference to dry, wet, and delicate goods. This is a dirty cargo should never be carried in the same compartment as clean cargos. A general comparison of dirty cargos would include such as commodities as oil, paints, or animals products. Whereas clean cargos would cover the like of foodstuff or fabrics. Delicate cargos should be suitable marked as fragile as shall be so stowed that these are handled with care, same shall not be stowed in the same compartment where heavy cargos are stowed. Next one is these are some of dry cargos. Cocoa, stow away from heat and from other cargos which are liable to taint. Coffee requires plenty of ventilation, is susceptible to damage from strong smelling goods. Copra is it is on the coconut tree that in copra. Dry coconut flesh liable to heat and spontaneous combustion. It could taint other cargos and cause oxygen deficiency in the compartment. Next one, parcel of cargo. When two cargo parcel cannot be segregated by means of lines, that liquid level can purposely be kept higher for one of the products, thereby ensuring that any possible link will go in the less dangerous direction with regard to contamination damage. It is essential to use port marking to separate parcel for discharge at different ports. And this is the method of separation between the parcel of cargo. Separation cargoes, it is often a requirement when separate parcel of the same cargo are carried together that a degree of separation between the units is essential. Depending on the type of goods being shipped will reflect the type of separation method employed. For example, materials include color wash, tarpaulins, burlap, paper sheeting, dunnage, chalk marks, rope yarns, or collage sheets. The idea of separation is to ensure the cargo parcel, although maybe looking the same, are not allowed to become inadvertently mixed. And this is the method of the separation. Cargoes can be loaded together in the same hold or think using various forms of separation materials. Tin knitting, different colors are available, usually synthetic. Ropes, different colors are available. Weight water soluble as may damage the cargo, for example, timber. Marking pens very suitable for cartons and case goods, chalk, but beware as they may be easily erased. This topic can be helpful to all students because this topic is we can use before if we can use if we can board the ship and we have a knowledge what is the segregation and separation method. That's all. Thank you.
Cargoes can be loaded together in the same hold or twin deck using various forms of separation material. Tin netting. Ito ay usually synthetic. Ropes, different colors are available. Paint. Water soluble as it may damage the cargo, for example, timber. Marking pens. Very suitable for cartons and case goods. Chalk. But beware, this may be easily erased. Layers of damage. Flat board or plywood. Construction of bulkheads from timbers or occasional steel plate. Separation cloth like burlap. Plastic sheet, but make sure restriction of ventilation will not harm the cargo. Use of marking, for example, bag. Mark on the side can be separated by sewing them mark up and mark down. Separation between parcel of cargo for different consignments or different ports discharge is often required. This is achieved using any of the means discussed above as suitable. It shall be borne in mind that cargoes for the designated port are clearly identified. Discharge of cargo in any other port than the destination is likely to result in huge cost. Now, let's proceed to the next slide. Cargo documents. Mate receipt. A mate receipt is a temporary receipt issued and signed by the officer of a vessel to acknowledge the goods ready to be loaded on a ship. This act has evidence that goods were loaded in the vessel, but it does not have the same validity as for the instant the bill of lading. Bill of lading. A bill of lading indicates a particular carrier through which the goods have been placed to their final destination and the conditions for transporting the shipment to its final destination, land, ocean, and air, are the means used for bills of lading. Let's proceed to the last slide of cargo documents. Boat note. Boat note is a document issued by port authorities on the basis of export obligation and after ascertaining that custom duties are paid under shipping bill and after payment of port use. Cargo plan. A ship cargo plan shows the distribution as well as the disposition of all percent of cargo aboard the vessel. The plan is formulated usually from the workbooks of the deck officer, a fair copy being produced before departure from the final port of loading. This allows copies of the plan to be made before the vessel sails. The copies are forwarded to agents at ports of discharge to allow the booking and reservation of labor as appropriate.
My name is Torres from Christianai from section of BSMT S1 Bravo. Today I report Topic 6, cargo damage. I will start. Learning objectives at the end of the session. The student should be able to explain how to ensure and detection of defects and damage. Types of cargo, claims containers. Theft, weight, shortage, sinking, contamination, infestation, physical damage, repair related, containers loss, overload. Okay, next one. Cargo damage may happen in stage in a ship cycles and may happen while cargo is in the positioning of sellers. Next is while cargo is being offloaded at delivery. Okay, while cargo is positioning of the buyer, etc. Types of cargo damage. First one is physical damage. Physical damage is when cargo is damaged due to dropping, rolling, breakage, and being knocked during transit, etc. The main cause of physical damage is bad stowage inside the container, resulting damage. Okay. Bad stowage includes incorrect, improper, and insufficient flashing. Improper loading affecting the stability of the example of bad stowage. Not positioning properly. Wet damage. Second one. Wet damage, as the name of suggests, is damage is to cargo due of the water and wet condition the cargo is exposed to. Condensation can always happen when an incorrect type of container is used to transit sensitive products of e.g. usage of normal container instead of ventilated container. The trade risk warranty that we call TRG estimated that 10% of all container shipment discard are due to moisture related damage. Moisture forms inside the container due to condensation, also known as container rain. What is containing rain? Container rain. Container rain is also known as container rain with as term as to describe condensation that accumulates on what's selling container. Then the rains is down the goods, resulting water damage. Okay. Next one is contamination damage. Damage to cargo when it has been made impure to population, poisoning, etc., which renders an unusable unusable for human consumption of the others industrial or operational usage. There are the numerous ways which another commodity can contaminate a cargo, e.g. By improper storage before shipment is consequent exposure to a contaminate by poor separation from another commodity in the same cargo space, etc. This is the report of cargo damage. Top 6. Cargo damage, topic 6. Thank you.
I'm Cadet Reyes. My assigned presentation is topic 6, repair related damage. The damage are quite common occurrence and are caused by repair equipment or mishandling of power failure. Repair cargo damage includes decay, towing, freeze damage, over-refining, bruising of size, and or discoloration of product in transit. The damage could occur due to improper setting of temperature, intentional human error, improper stowage, poor air circulation. Dito, kailangang mahalagang mabuti ang mga kargamentong madaling mabulok. Dapat comfortable ang kanilang mga lalagyan para hindi masayang. Infestation damage is caused by presence of large number of insects or animals, especially rodents in a cargo. Such type of damage mainly occurs in the cargo carrying agriculture products. Infestation damage can also lead to contamination damage, making product unsuitable to be used by the lead end user. The damage can also cause delay of cargo in transit as port authorities need time to inspect the cargo for the cause of damage. Bago mo sarduhan ng isang container, kailangan mo munang i-check ang mga sulok o gilid nito para matingnan kung walang nakapasok na mga insekto katulad ng daga o ibis para maiwasan ang damage ng mga cargamento. Be sure to prevent cargo damage. When shipping cargo susceptible to wet damage, make sure the correct route is chosen. Climates with high humidity, for example, cold affects the cargo and condensation could create water damage. Bago mo ipadala ang mga kargamento ay kailangan lahat ng pintuan ng containers ay nakasarado. Ensure that incompatible products are not mixed in the container. Kailangan hindi lahok-lahok ang mga laman ng container. Dapat ay pare-pareho. Use to correct the container for shipping respective products. Gumamit ka ng maayos na container at kung ang mga laman nito ay mabibigat sa baba mo ito ilalagay at kung magagaan naman ay sa taas. Ensure that the right lashing and damaged material are used within the containers to restrict the movement of cargo. Siguraduhin maganda ang pagkakapatas ng mga container upang maiwasan ng mga restrict o paggalaw ng mga ito habang naglalayag. Frozen cargos should be checked for dehydration, desiccation, fluid migration, odors, black spots, color and flavor change, and should also examine for sign of any upward temperature deviation and subsequent repricing. Ang mga frozen containers ay kailangan laging bisitahin ang dehydration upang maiwasan mga damage ng mga laman nito. Ensure you use technology-enabled solution to know the real updates about the location and condition of your cargo in transit to avoid any damage and take proactive measure to reduce further losses in case cargo has been damaged. Siguraduhin gumamit ng mga technology service to accelerate para matingnan kung ayos na ba ang proseso ng mga kargamento. The event of cargo being damaged as a result of an incident of reported as a loss during a voyage please ensure the following. Number 1. Investigate the cause of damage and take appropriate action to prevent further damage. All corrective and preventive measures adopted should be recorded and evidence preserved. Now the problem first, what could be the positive things that can trigger the problem with records to the cargo? Always remember to take this unnecessary on corrective and preventive measure. Keep in mind that it should be recorded so that we can easily investigate or identify the main problem and get better solution for this. 2. Notify as required the vessel owner and manager, charterer, local P&I, correspondent terminal, any other vessel involved. In the event of collision or STS operation, flag state and local port authority. Always keep in touch with the owner, charterer, local P&L so that if ever unnecessary damage or see incident, we can get emergency to them. Number 3, lodge a note of protest if required. Raise a note of protest if ever something is not good after the actual incident. Just be prepared. Number 4, record and preserve all events leading up to the cargo damage or loss. The evidence could include information on weather, relevant logbook entries, checklist adopted, stability information, pictures of cargo loading, lashing, stowage and securing maintenance, check and test of equipment and machineries involved including lashing, care of cargo, and route including cargo monitoring records. Any report prepared by attending surveyor at the time of the loading, discharging of the cargo to be preserved. Records all the events because it is primary evidence you can write on a logbook. You can include information of weather, checklist, stability information, picture of the cargo, securing, maintenance or checklist prior to loading, during loading or after loading, as well as report from the surveyor must be kept. Number 5, take photographs or videos relating the actual incident of cargo damage and vessel condition at the time of the incident. Photo and videos can be a good source of primary evidence of the actual incident. Number 6, all cargos related documents such shipper cargo declaration, bill of loading, MSDS, sheet, test certificates, charterer's instruction to be preserved. It must also include two bills of loading MSDS sheet, test certificates, charterer instruction to be preserved. Number 7. Incident report with details of the cargo damage or loss, anything contributory factors, description of how damage or loss occurred be prepared. Is much better if is detailed of the cargo damage or loss, and also contributory factors should be prepared. Number 8. Statement of facts to be prepared by the witness. This should be signed by the person preparing this statement and countersigned by the personal talking the statement. Signatory or sign of the witness is important to the all the state of facts evidence are legal. Number 9. A distributor damage report should be prepared in the event the damage caused may attribute to the distributor. Individuals to get a signature or acknowledgement from the distributor company. Distributor damage report should be also be prepared to get signature or acknowledgement from the distributing company. And that's number 10. Relevant entries to be made in the deck logbook or official logbook. Always log important relevant entry to be made in the official logbook of the deck department. Additional records and evidence may be required depending upon the type of the cargo, the nature of the cargo, loss or contamination, loss of liquid cargo. Cleanliness certificate or fitness to. Kalinisan ng sertipiko. Load, cargo plan and pipeline plan. Plano ng pagkakarga ng mga kargamento. Cargo loading sequence plan as finalized with the terminal prior to loading. Kailangan plano ang pagkakasunod-sunod ng mga kargamento bago ito ikarga. Vessel cargo fitness certificate detailing the amount and list of grade that can be loaded. A certain vessel cargo compatibility. Kailangan ng cargo fitness ng mga detalyeng halaga at mga listahan ng mga kargamento para makita ang mga pagkakatugma-tugma ng mga kargamento. And the last is confirmation sample taken includes details of the stage of sampling such as first foot sample. Please refer to the relevant bulletins issued by Club 1. Thank you.
This is my slide for topic 6. Damage to temperature. Some commodities may be affected by temperature fluctuations, which may cause condensation of accelerate deterioration, or extremes of temperature which may shorten and shelf life of the commodity or even change its chemical composition. Rust damage. Due mainly to moisture, rain, fresh or salt and sweat, and the presence of oxygen, rust is corrosion producing red discoloration and in certain circumstances heavy pitting. The moisture caused the rust may be introduced by leakage, other cargo packaging, green timber damage, rain when ashore or when the hatches are itself. There are three separate systems I know of that are often used to prevent rusting. Paint coating. The entire ship is coated in a thick layer of paint. New hull coatings protect the steel, prevent growth of marine life on the hull, and also reduce the friction as the ship moves through the water. Damage caused by lift transfer. Lowering heavy slings or drops of cargo to pass on to cargo already in stowage may be responsible for damage which often goes undetected until discharge. Similarly, firstly, dragging cargo out that is wedged by other cargo or even overstowed may be another source of damage at the time of discharge. High loading rate. High loading rate, the terminal must be prepared to stop operation if the officer in charge of the ship is concerned about deviations from the agreed plan. Risk associated with high loading rates can be assessed by studying the sensitivity of the hull girder to overshooting overload. You find the maximum loading rate on ship by where a number of tanks are loaded through a common manifold. The maximum loading rate may be determined by the flow rate through the manifold drop lines. The safe operation of bulk carriers is dependent on the not exceeding allowable stresses in the cycle of loading, discharging, ballasting, and deballasting. Exceeding the permissible limit specified in the ship's approval loading manual will lead to overstressing of stressing of the ship's structures and may result in catastrophic failure of the hull structure. Asymmetric cargo and ballast distribution. Heavy cargo poured into a cargo space at one end of the hold piles up. The lateral pressure acting on the transverse bulk head increasing since it will not be cancelled out. Stowing cargo asymmetrically about the center line causes twisting and warping of the hull girder. Damage by bulk carriers are usually discharged by grabs or by suction pipes. Pouring the cargo through a shooter or via conveyor belt does the loading. Bulk carriers have large upper and lower ballast tanks to give the empty vessel enough draft and a better behavior whilst in transit. The safe operation of bulk carrier is dependent on the non-exceeding allowance stresses in the cycle of loading, discharging, ballasting, and deballasting. Damage by weather conditions. The master shall inspect the vessel and cargo during navigation if practicable and just after heavy weather conditions and advise company if any damage has occurred. Any possible, even if temporary, repairs by ship staff either to the hull, fittings or to the cargo container must be attended. Weather abates. Extreme weather condition can have a massive impact on cargo ships and port operations, both in terms of cost and delay. If hit by heavy winds, ports may be unable to operate their cranes, ports and even have to close down, and the extra cargoes has to be stored for a longer period of time due to the ports from stops. Damage by weather conditions. In heavy weather, the ship is subject to heavy strain and stresses. The stresses experienced by the ship are hugging, sagging, pounding, and popping. If it is true that the ship will meet bad weather, precautionary measures are always to be put into effect. The areas that you need to check and double, if necessary, all cargo latching on deck. To batten down all hatches, manholes, etc. To tighten all lifeboats right. To remove all ventilator heads, plug the entry ports and switch covers on them. To clear all loot gear from the deck, and to make quite sure that all the derricks are secured.